In this video we're talking about all the things you can do as a senior golfer to gain more speed, reverse age and carry on hitting the ball far enough to keep your handicap down. If you stick around to the end, then I'm going to give you 2 quick hacks you can do on the course for when your body's getting a bit tired that are going to help you give you a boost and finish strong when you're playing. Before we get to the video, if you're new here, if you could please hit that subscribe button. I release new videos like this every single week that will help you improve your game. Right, let's get to it. As you start to get older and start losing speed, there are things we should be doing in our golf swing to adapt to this, to try and slow this down and maybe even reverse it. There are well-known cases of people getting quicker as they get older, and we should be trying to adapt our swing to fight against it. So the things I see teaching senior golfers all the time are people get stiffer, they become less flexible, and they blame their lack of movement on mobility. I understand that we get stiffer, we get creakier, the bones don't quite move like they used to, but there are different things we can do in our setup and our swing that are going to help us swing a bit longer, swing a bit quicker, and we just need to understand those. One of the big faults that I see with golfers as they get older is they stop using their body very well and their swings become very arm dominated, can't create loads of speed without a turn. We need to increase our shoulder turn, and we're going to do that actually by increasing our hip turn. The hips power the shoulders, and it's important to note that if you're keeping your hips static, then we're never going to swing very fast, certainly as we get older. What golfers will say to me all the time is, look, I'm getting older, I'm stiff, I'm not flexible, I can't turn. But actually, if I asked you to turn around to look to the person behind you, you'd be able to do that no problem, and that doesn't really take any mobility at all. If I was to try and turn and look at someone behind me with just my shoulders, it's tight, it's stiff, I'm stretching across my back. But if I allow my feet to move, which then allow my hips to move, which allow my shoulders to move, I can get an awful long way back, more than far enough than I need to in an actual golf swing. What we have to do is, first of all, we've got to turn our feet out. This unlocks a bit more hip turn. If I turn my feet in, it restricts. If I turn my foot out, it allows. So we definitely need to turn that back foot out. And what we have to do is try and just focus on the hips. Don't worry about turning the shoulders because they'll move. But we've got to move that right hip back, the right leg back, and especially lift up that left heel. And in doing those things, I'm able to create a much bigger turn than I would as if I kept everything very stiff. Look, the club can travel much further, I can really get flat, I can really reach behind me and create a nice long golf swing. So we're going to turn the feet out. As we turn, send the right hip back, we're going to lift the heel up, and that's going to just allow us to unrestrict the lower body, which is then going to allow us to turn our upper body further. So the next thing we need to do is we need to shallow out the golf swing, shallow out our swing plane. So we're going to do this in 2 different ways. The first one is just going to be in our address position, so this one's really easy, and we just need to make sure that we have between 5 and 10 degrees of spine tilt away from the target at address. So the easiest way to do this is simply hold the club down your sternum, get into your posture, and just tilt to the right without pushing our hips forward. Just tilt to the right until that club touches your knee, and that's the correct spine angle for your address position. Now, we want to try our best to make our new big turn on that angle as much as we possibly can. So again, a great drill for this is simply hold the club down your sternum, get into your posture, and just practice turning whilst keeping that club against your left knee. This is a great one. Right hip back, left heel up. Look how far I can turn. And that's going to help keep our swing nice and shallow. Golfers where their spine angles tilt either too straight or even towards the target, either are going to do their back in, which would be no good, or they just end up with short swings because they can't turn very well. So once we now we know how to turn, what we need to do is turn on the right angle. So hold the club down the sternum against the knee, make that turn with the club staying against the knee, and that's going to put us in a really shallow position. The reason we want to be shallow is because it's going to help us swing faster. The more behind us the club swings into the ball from, then the more time it's got to generate speed, and the faster your club head speed is going to be, which means the further you're going to hit the ball. So if we can learn to turn on that shallow angle with our hip going back and our heel coming up, then that's going to give us a longer swing and more speed. So the third thing we need to do after we've got a good turn and we've got a good nice angle which sets our shallow plane is we need to learn to use our hands a little bit better. So something like 80% of our clubhead speed comes from our hands and wrist angles and our arms basically. So we need to learn to load the club with our wrists on the way back and then release the club and release the right arm on the way through. As we swing back, we're going to load the right wrist, fold the right arm, and then as we swing down, we have to straighten the right arm and throw the right wrist. Almost like a punch. This is very much like a throw. So we load the wrist, load the arm, and then let it go. We're doing this same thing into the ball. Golfers need to understand that this actually has to happen quite early. We really want to be almost straightening everything as we get to contact. Certainly for senior players who want more speed, that throw has to sort of feel like it's happening here, because generally people will swing very stiff through the ball in an effort to try and keep it straight maybe, but we'll always lose distance this way. So it's quite a good idea just to, in your pre-shot routine, just do some half swings where you load and then throw that right arm, bend the right elbow, bend the right wrist, then release those into the ball. Really trying to feel like through the shot we're extending, load, elbow and wrist, throw into the ball. And you can start to build up quite a lot of speed just in that, using that right arm without really doing much with your body. And then once we start to work in that shoulder turn and the swing plane, you can start to generate more and more speed. But just doing some rehearsal swings with the right, just half swings, not expending too much energy, feeling the club swish at the bottom, which is caused by the right arm throw. And then we've got to take that into a swing. So if you can get on a driving range with a launch monitor, either a TrackMan or a Top Tracer range, or you've got a Mevo or a Garmin or whatever, it's quite a good idea to just experiment and see, right, if I do a swing where I just focus on my arms and not with my body, how fast can I go? A bit necky. And then once I add my turn in, how fast can I go? And see the difference in the numbers. What we have to think about is the turn of our swing creates the length. The right arm and the right wrist bending and cocking create the load, and then the throw releases the power. And that all has to be done on a shallow plane. So we're turning with our drill, heel up, hip back, creates a big shoulder turn. We're doing that on a shallow arc because of our spine tilt, and we're going to load and throw that right arm on the way through. And hopefully what this looks like is quite a flat swing. It should look quite loose. I'm not tense at all. We're trying to take the tension out of the swing. We're just relaxing, folding, cocking, turning, and then throwing into the ball. So my two quick hacks for senior golfers who need more speed quickly on the golf course is, the first thing I would want you to do is actually just close your stance, but I want you to aim the club face first. So you're going to line your shot, get the club lined up straight, take your normal stance, and then actually just drop your right foot back, drop your trail foot back. And what that's going to do is unlock a big hip turn. If you're struggling with getting that hip back and the toe up, the heel up, then a bit of a cheat, I don't really like it, but it's a bit of a cheat and it does work, is just drop your right foot back. That's going to unlock more turn, make things a bit easier, and then you've just got to worry about the plane and the loading of the right arm. The other thing that does as well is pretty much guarantees you hit a draw, so there is a bonus, but just remember to close your stance after you've already aligned. A second little cheat is actually to sort of step through the ball. So when you make a swing, slide that right foot forwards and walk after it a little bit. That's going to encourage a harder turn through, a harder drive through the shot, and will just give you maybe 2 or 3 or 5% more speed. So we're still going to do all the stuff we were talking about: hip back, big turn, shallow plane, load the right arm. We're just going to step through it to create a bit more speed. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. Gary Player did that throughout his career because he was a little bloke trying to hit the ball as far as possible. I like that drill, even if it's just something you do on the driving range, because it's going to help you feel like you're just giving it more power, more speed. But those are two things you can do out on the golf course that will help you just give yourself a little bit extra if you find yourself struggling maybe towards the end of the round. Well, thanks very much for watching the videos. If you can please like and comment to boost the engagement, and subscribe if you don't already, that'd be great. If you like what I put out in these videos, you like what I say about technique, I can actually help you with your game no matter where you are in the world. So if you just want to click the link in the bio, it'll take you to Skillist, which is an online coaching platform, and there you can look to see what I do, and actually I can help you with your game, so analyse your swing, give you some drills and tips to help you improve, so we can work together to help you lower your handicap.